Most people don't realize that the majority of NBA players will play in the G League at some point of their career, and many went on to become all-stars like Chris Middleton, Pascal Siakam and Rudy Gobert. Others went on to become multiple-time champions like Danny Green and Quinn Cook. But what happened to the G League's all-time leading scorer? Who is he, and why did he only play one NBA game in his entire career?
Renaldo Major is the G League's all-time leading scorer.
A living legend, Renaldo Major.
Sends the ball to Renaldo Major, who drives the baseline and jams it down.
And that's our difference so far. 44-42 Idaho. Renaldo Major drives all the way in and scores. Cooper drives all the way in. Alley-oop. Bam! Oh! Renaldo Major!
Introducing Renaldo Major, who played over 450 games in the G League, broke all kind of records, but never really got a chance in the league. His story is inspiring and one we can all learn from. So Renaldo Major was a 6'7" forward from Chicago, Illinois, and like any young kid growing up in the Windy City during that time period, he grew up supporting the Chicago Bulls and idolizing Michael Jordan. Renaldo modeled his game after Jordan, but also took a lot of inspiration from Scottie Pippen, who inspired him to be a two-way player. Despite being a high school basketball star called Skinny Hardaway by coaches and teammates due to his similar size and play style, Renaldo had zero college offers, and when speaking about this in an interview, he blames nobody but himself, saying he wasn't as invested in the sport as he should have been, and he left the varsity team his senior year for personal reasons.
Because I wasn't invested in basketball like I should have been. You know, I'm not going to make excuses and say, oh, I got overlooked and this is the reason why I didn't get a scholarship. I didn't take basketball serious.
With no future in basketball, Renaldo was set to join the military. That was until he got a tryout at a community college, and his performances there earned him a full-ride scholarship to Fresno's, where in 2 seasons he played decent, averaging 10.2 points and 4.1 rebounds, but still he wasn't a starter and was playing at a relatively small school. Nonetheless, Renaldo had pro aspirations. He wanted to make the league, but he wasn't on NBA radar whatsoever and went undrafted in 2004. But instead of giving up on his dream and settling for a standard life, he spent the next 2 years playing in minor basketball leagues across America, in Kansas and Indiana. He attended pro camps and tryouts all across the country hoping to make a team, but he was cut every single time. At this point it would have been easier to give up, but Renaldo kept pushing, and in 2006 he became aware of the NBA's newly formed minor league, which was created by David Stern to farm NBA players and find gems lost within the system. Major had heard that the D-League was the place to be for aspiring pros that went under the radar in college, so he put his name in the draft and was selected in the 4th round of the 2006 D-League draft by the Sioux Falls Skyforce. Renaldo didn't know what to expect, but he didn't put limitations on what he was capable of, and set out the goal to be MVP of the league. At first though, he knew he would have to take baby steps, and he knew that the best way to earn playing time on the court was to lock in on the defensive side of the floor.
I was trying to be a defensive stopper and just play defense, nothing but defense, and do the things that other guys didn't want to do.
He started out with the Skyforce averaging 12 points and 4.9 rebounds on 53% shooting, and became a desirable player at the minor league level and was traded to the Dakota Wizards, which turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to him. Because in Dakota, Renaldo went from a defensive specialist to one of the best two-way forwards in the D-League.
About what a smart player Hearn is. Oh, and a block by Major.
Whoa! Nick Johnson rejected by Renaldo Major.
In his rookie season, Renaldo exceeded his own expectations. He averaged 18.2 points per game on 50% shooting. He also averaged over 2 stocks per game and just shy of 3 assists. He became the profile of player that every NBA team wanted at the back end of their roster, a hard-working defensive specialist who gives maximum effort on both sides of the ball. And what happened to him next was something at times he would have doubted was even possible. He got the call of a lifetime.
So I'm walking back to my hotel room, I'm going up the stairs, and Chris Alpert, the president of the league back then, he called me like, Renaldo. I'm like, yeah, what's up, Chris? He's like, are you sitting down? I'm like, oh, should I be sitting down? I'm thinking I'm about to get some bad news. He's like, no, I just want to tell you the Golden State Warriors just called you up to the NBA. I think I blacked out for like 30, 45 minutes.
I have more news for you. A Gatorade call-up congratulations to the Major family. Renaldo Major has been called up by the Golden State Warriors.
Everything is all about timing. As fate would conveniently have it, the Golden State Warriors were involved in a blockbuster 8-team trade in the middle of the season, and were suddenly short-handed of players. They needed bodies to fill up their roster fast. And when they turned to the minor league, Major, as one of the league's best players, had put himself in position to be picked up, and he signed a 10-day contract with the Golden State Warriors. And with the Warriors being short-handed, Renaldo wasn't warming the bench, he was thrown right into the fire, and was playing in an NBA game. Renaldo knew this was a big opportunity and he gave maximum effort in this game. He was diving for loose balls, he wasn't afraid of the moment. In 27 minutes he took 10 shots, finished with 5 points, was 2 of 10 from the field, with 2 rebounds and 2 steals. It wasn't an efficient shooting performance, but it was his first NBA game, and he was impactful enough to stay on the court in what was a close game against the Clippers.
Major will be at the line. Renaldo. Isn't that a soccer player, Renaldo? Yeah. A chance to regain the lead. And he does it. It's Renaldo Major.
Remember, this was the first time in his entire life in a competitive setting he was playing in front of a massive crowd, also playing against the toughest competition of his life. And he wasn't just against any NBA team, he was at the Staples Center facing off with former number 2 pick Elton Brand, multiple time champion Sean Livingston, former All-Star Sam Cassell. It wasn't an easy first assignment, but he definitely had a solid performance all things considered. Unfortunately though, this game was the last time he'd see the court during his 10-day contract, and Major described this as the quickest 10 days of his life. He blinked and it was over, and his contract wasn't renewed. But Renaldo Major had got a taste of life in the league and was hungry for more, and told everyone that this was not the end and that he would be back. He returned to Dakota a man on a mission, and for the rest of the 2006-07 season, he played some of the best basketball of his career. He went on to be the D-League's Defensive Player of the Year, was an All-Star, first-team All-D-League, and led Dakota to the D-League Championship title for the first time in franchise history. And at the end of the season, for the first time in his basketball career, he had options. He had a professional offer overseas, guaranteed money on the table, which everybody around him encouraged him to sign. But Renaldo's heart was set on the league, and he had impressed Nuggets head coach George Karl, who invited him to training camp with the Nuggets. Major decided to bet on himself. He passed up the overseas offer, and his focus was to try and make a roster in Denver. Coach Karl was very transparent about what he expected from Major. He wanted a swingman to come in and bring energy on the defensive end from the forward position. At training camp, Renaldo played alongside and against the likes of Carmelo Anthony, Allen Iverson and J.R. Smith. He held his own and was well on course to sign with the team. He even stated that George Karl had told him he was one of the hardest working players that he'd coached, and how he planned to use him as the Nuggets' secret weapon in the coming season. George Karl also told him that the league had no idea what they were missing out on. Everything through all the trials and tribulations led to this moment. Renaldo Major was finally going to get his opportunity to sign a guaranteed contract with an NBA team. Not just anyone, the Nuggets were one of the best teams in the Western Conference with championship aspirations. But then, at the worst possible timing imaginable, Renaldo Major would suffer devastating news that changed the trajectory of not just his career, but his entire life. As during his physical examination with NBA doctors, they noticed a problem with his heart, which skipped a beat. And he'll tell you how this affected him in his own words.
I had to go take a physical and my heart skipped a beat, and the doctor was like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "You the doctor, you tell me, I don't know what's going on." And they said that it was a heart murmur, and then I had a loose aortic valve, and the only way to get it fixed was through having open heart surgery.
The heart surgery would sideline Renaldo for at least a year, and with no guarantee of him ever being able to play professional sports again, obviously as a result of this, his opportunity with the Nuggets passed him by. He wasn't able to sign a professional contract and didn't have the money to pay for the $75,000 surgery. Thankfully, the doctor was willing to operate on his heart for free, but after dealing with something so serious, there was no guarantee he would ever be able to play again or even be the same player. But Renaldo didn't give up. He missed the entirety of the 2008 season, but began working towards his recovery. It was a long road with a lot of ups and downs, but after 6 months of not touching a basketball, Renaldo got back to work and got himself ready and in shape for the following season. But just as Ronaldo overcame his biggest setback and was finally healthy again, he endured another setback that was equally as heartbreaking.
A month after that, my dad had died, you know, so it was like, that was crushing. Like, the heart surgery was a breeze. 6 months, I got back to it. As soon as I get healthy, he passed away. It's like my heart being broken all over again.
As his father, who was his biggest supporter in basketball, sadly passed away. This was even harder to deal with for Major, as although he was physically healthy to play again, mentally he wasn't in the right headspace. And this reflected in his performances. The same drive and fire he played with that made him so effective was burned out.
It was tough. It was tough, because that was my best friend, and, you know, we talked a lot after the games, and he would always tell me, you know, saying, play defense, rebound, don't worry about scoring.
Ronaldo continued to play in Dakota for the next 2 seasons and maintained a high level of production throughout, averaging 13.5 points and 5 rebounds over the next 2 seasons. But the problem was time was ticking. In the NBA world, as you enter your mid-20s, you're approaching an age where if you don't have experience in the pros, you're going to have to do something extraordinary to be an exception and get picked ahead of younger players. The fact that Ronaldo also had a serious health problem was also a massive deterrent for NBA teams to give him a chance. Not only that, but admittedly, Ronaldo wasn't the same player post-heart surgery. He didn't have the same conditioning, explosiveness, and athleticism he once had.
I knew I wasn't the same player. Like, my burst of speed, my athleticism, my quickness, like, it was tough. And then getting older, you know, having a heart surgery, I turned 26, you know, at that age, like, they started thinking like, oh no. Then 27, 28 came, I'm like, yeah, I know it's kind of over, so let me just help other players and other kids get there.
But instead of throwing in the towel, giving up and blaming the world for his unfortunate circumstances, Ronaldo continued to play the game he loved and found purpose in inspiring other aspiring NBA hopefuls and mentoring them on their journeys. He did this while spending the rest of his career in the G League, making a living playing the game he loved. And in 2014, he made history, going off for 26 points and becoming the D-League's all-time leading scorer.
Under 10 on the shot clock. Big Earl puts it on the floor, nice move, and Major scores a much tougher basket.
Shooting over 53% in the paint. Bakersfield's got to do a better job of rerouting that dribble.
Here's Major. Major, he wants that lead, and he got it, so he is now the all-time leading scorer.
To this day, he maintains several D-League records. Most points scored, most field goals made, most free throws, most steals, even most personal fouls. And as the all-time leading scorer with a championship and Defensive Player of the Year, he has a strong case for being the greatest minor league basketball player of all time. And had it not been for unfortunate, uncontrollable circumstances, Renaldo Major would have likely been one of the D-League's first great success stories, who would have went on to have a successful career in the NBA. Still, the fact that he's accomplished everything he did in his career, despite all the setbacks throughout, makes him one of the sport's most inspiring stories, and is proof to anyone that you can still find purpose within the sport of basketball beyond just playing in the NBA. After retirement, even working in the local dollar store, Renaldo is back spending his livelihood around the game and has entered a new chapter of his career in coaching. And he's starting his coaching career right where he started as a player, with the Sioux Falls Skyforce. Renaldo has major aspirations in coaching. He's striving to work his way up the ladder from an assistant in the minors to head coach to eventually one day fulfill his NBA dream in a different role as the head coach of an NBA team.
Yes, my ambition is to be an NBA coach one day, but I know I gotta take my time. One step at a time, one day at a time. But I first wanted to become an assistant coach, master that role, then become a head coach here for the Skyforce. Master that role and then see what's else after that, but I want to be in the NBA.
He's no stranger to having to grind his way up through the minors. He's not looking for shortcuts nor a handout. He's willing to do it all over again the hard way. And if there's one thing about Renaldo Major, he never gives up. And he's never been one to not go above and beyond and exceed expectations with anything he puts his mind to. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more stories on inspiring players like Renaldo Major, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, and click the middle of your screen to watch this video that I'm willing to bet you will enjoy. Go watch that right now. Like this video if you enjoyed, and on that note, it's DKM signing out until next time, and peace.